Hello, my name is Randy Ramirez, and the poem I've chosen to read and do my explication on is The River Merchant's Wife, a Letter. This is not a very long poem, so I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. This is a poem, it's a really cool poem. It's basically, it's a letter from a young bride to her husband, who's away and she's missing him. But it's really a love story because it goes from the time that they first met as children, um, all the way, to he's gone away and how she's missing him and how she's waiting for his return. While my hair was still cut straight across my forehead, I played about the front gate pulling flowers. You came by on a bamboo stilts playing horse. You walked about my seat playing with blue plums. And we went on living in the village of Chokan, two small people without dislike or suspicion. At 14 I married my lord you. I never laughed, being bashful. Lowering my head, I looked at the wall, called to 1,000 times. I never looked back. At 15 I stopped scowling. I desired my dust to be mingled with yours, forever and forever and forever. Why should I climb the lookout? At 16 you departed. You went into Kotu Inn by the river of swirling eddies, and you have been gone 5 months. The monkeys make sorrowful noise overhead. You dragged your feet when you went out. By the gate now the moss has grown, the different mosses, too deep to clear them away. The leaves fall early this autumn in the wind. The paired butterflies are already yellow with August. Over the grass in the west garden, they hurt me. I grow older. If you are coming down through the narrows of the river Kyang, please let me know beforehand, and I will come out to meet you as far as Cho Fusa. All right, well, I'm going to kind of try and unpack this poem, and I'm going to just, go, a few lines at a time, and try to give you my, thoughts or my explanations for this poem. So I'll start with while my hair was still cut straight across my forehead, I played about the front gate pulling flowers. I really like this, the words he chose to use, talking about a haircut being cut straight across your forehead. I remember when I was a child, I had bangs, and when you think about it, most children have bangs. It's an easy haircut for moms to give their children. Kids aren't very interested in styling their hair. So when she says, my hair was still cut straight across my forehead, I think of a child. I played about the front gate pulling flowers. So here we have a child who's playing, pulling flowers, and playing by herself. The next lines we see, you came by on bamboo stilts playing horse. You walked about my seat playing with blue plums. And we went on living in the village of Chokan, two small people without dislike or suspicion. So, we see this is where she gets introduced to her husband. He's a little boy. He comes by and he's playing with her. It doesn't, they don't go into any kind of dialogue. They just play together. They're just two small people. When you think about how kids play together, they're not like adults. When we meet people as adults, we introduce ourselves, we have carry on conversation, get to know each other that way. But here they are, they're not conversing, they're just playing together. When you watch two children come together and meet for the first time, and they'll come up to each other and just start playing together. And then maybe over time, they develop that friendship and converse and stuff, but playing together. So these are just two young little children playing together, innocent, carefree. Obviously, they grow up to be good friends, it seems. And then we see in the next lines how their relationship changes quite a bit. As she says, at 14, I married my lord you. I never laughed, being bashful. Lowering my head, I looked at the wall. Called to 1,000 times, I never looked back. So we see the relationships change quite dramatically here. Just a few short years earlier, they were playmates in the yard playing together, and now they're getting married at 14. This must have been a very scary time for her, because she said she never laughs. Being bashful, she lowered her head and looked at the wall. There was no laughter that you would normally feel on a wedding day. The joy that most brides feel on their wedding day. In some ways, you can see she's bashful, she feels ashamed, she doesn't want to even look at him. Maybe she's just, lowering her head, not looking at him because she can't even look at him because she's so angry. Maybe she's, um, just, you know, just unhappy. She's just totally unhappy. You can tell. Um, in the line where it says, she was called to 1,000 times, I never looked back. It's possible she refused to even look at him or anyone else for that matter. Maybe she's being called by, she's at her wedding and people are coming up to her and trying to talk to her, but she doesn't want to see any of them, talk to any of them. Maybe she feels some resentment towards him, her parents, and maybe, society as a whole that she lived in, where it's, where they have it acceptable for a 14-year-old child to get married. And then we see in the next lines that, this relationship does change. At 15, I stopped scowling. I desired my dust to be mingled with yours, forever and forever and forever. Why should I climb the lookout? So she stops, scowling. So, obviously she was mad and upset when she first got married, but now she's not. It's been over a year, they've spent together, and she's grown to love him. She loves him so much that she desires for her dust to be mingled with his dust. I mean, this is pretty deep. This is, kind of taken her wedding vows, as I see it, like from dust to dust till death do we part. Now she totally is in love with her husband, and she wants to spend her whole life with him, to the point that, even beyond death, she wants to be with him. When they're dead and gone and buried and their bodies, rot away and it's just the dust that's left, she wants her dust to be mingled with his dust. In the last line, why should I climb the lookout? That just goes to me, it just makes me, reiterate how much she loves him. She's so happy with him. It makes me think she's saying, why would she look for anything else or look for, love anywhere else? She's totally devoted and in love with him. And another year passes by, we see. At 16, you departed. You went into Kutoyen by the river of swirling eddies. And you have been gone 5 months. The monkeys make sorrowful noises overhead. So now she's 16 years old. She's a year older. But now he's gone away. He's a river merchant. He's traveled somewhere, a new town, somewhere in the region. But we know it's on the river because she says it's where the eddies swirl. He's been gone for 5 months now. I'm sure 5 months to her seems like a lifetime. Time goes by so slowly, it seems like when we're young and we're a child like her. I remember when I was in school, first grade to 12th grade seemed like it took forever. It seemed like it was a lifetime. Now that kind of time just flies by. But to her, he's been gone for 5 months, and it's like a lifetime, and she's really sad and sorrowful. And we can see that because the monkeys make sorrowful noises, so she can't escape her sadness. Everywhere, everything she looks at, everything reminds her of him, and reminds her, how sad she is and how much she misses him. This just consumes her completely. The next line says, "You dragged your feet when you went out. By the gate now the moss is grown, the different mosses too deep to clear them away." It's obvious here that he doesn't want to leave either. He's kind of dragging his feet. It kind of makes me think he's dragging his feet, and he lingers at the gate. It's almost like a death row inmate dragging his feet, walking his final steps. He doesn't want to leave her. He doesn't want to go away from her. He stops at the gate and lingers, contemplating. Maybe, he's contemplating or thinking about the time that, where he met her. He met her at that gate when they were young children. She says that, it says the moss is grown, the different mosses. It's just too deep to clear away. So that just goes back to, it's been a long time. He's been gone for quite a long time. As we get towards the end of the poem, it says, the leaves fall early in autumn and wind. The paired butterflies are already yellow with August. Over the grass in the west garden, they hurt me. I grow older. It's coming into fall. The season is ending. Maybe she feels like their love is almost dying or ending because she's not with him, much like the leaves are falling and dying and falling from the tree. She sees the butterflies flying together, paired together, flying together in a pair, and she says this hurts her. Maybe the paired butterflies remind her of a couple that are together, but she's no longer with her love. He's gone away from her, so she's hurting. Um, and she says, I grow older. It's been a long time. He's been gone for quite a while. The poem finally closes. If you are coming down through the narrows of the river Kyane, please let me know beforehand, and I will come out to meet you as far as Chofusa. So, here she closes up her letter to her lover, letting her, she's let her, know how much she misses him, how much she longs to be with him, and how much she can't wait till he finally comes back home. And she says, if you do come home, she's saying, send me word. Send word to me, and I will be there at the riverbanks, ready to meet you, ready to, hug you, ready to see her love. Well, that's my thoughts on this poem. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys take care. We'll see you.